You don't always make money with your big hands, and a lot of times the most unexciting sessions can be the most profitable ones. So, without further fooling, let's get that bread. I sit down at 2-5 no limit today with a starting stack of $800. I have a couple of chases at the table, but overall it's pretty tight from what I've seen so far. So, hopefully I'll be able to squeeze some change out of these boys. After picking up a few blinds, I look down at King in the small blind. I say a silent prayer that a few schlubs wake up with a hand so I can raise it up to Ms. Rocky's hairline when it gets back to me. Under the gun +1 is the only one to oblige me and makes it 6x to go. It folds around to me, and I jack that shit up to a C note. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a premium and isn't willing to gamble. I take down a small pot and make some notes that he's capable of opening 6x and folding to a 3-bet. This next hand is one for the books. We join the action with several limps to me, and I've made it 5x to go from the button with good old Jeff Jarrett. The cutoff is the only limper who calls, and we go heads up to the flop. The flop comes out 5-5-7 with 2 hearts. I love them paired boards, yes sir. When the cutoff checks, I decide to go about 80% of the pot with the idea of getting overcards out of there and charging heart draws to see another card. The sizing is also aimed at the cutoff stack size, as he only has about 200 behind. If he has a draw, putting a third of his stack at risk might be enough to get him to fold right here. The cutoff Hollywoods a bit and then gives the old, well, I guess I'm all in speech before pushing all of his chips into the middle. Okay, this here, it ain't good. If this player had raised preflop, I would be damn near 100% that he had a hand like ace-king or ace-queen of hearts. But it was limped around, and he limped with several limpers in front of him. So I put him on a range that has a lot of 5x, 7x, straight draws, and even straight flush draws in there. An important thing to note is that this player is not capable of bluffing. He could be gambling with a big draw, but he is not the kind of player who would make this play with nothing. In fact, I would say that the majority of the time, this is an underbluff spot at this level. Given the range he could have, if he has 5x, I need running hearts or a jack. If he has a 7 or a draw, I'm good. I don't think he's bad enough to play a full house this way, but I've been wrong before. After a bit of thought, I convince myself that he is on a draw, even though he's most definitely has a 5. And I call. The board runs out pretty bad with the 6 of hearts and the 9 of hearts. Some straight draws get there, some potential full houses get there, and the flush draw gets there. He tables ace-5 offsuit, and I'm kicking myself for calling. I am so focused on the trip 5s that I nearly muck my hand. Just before my cards leave my hand, I take a glance at the board and see 4 hearts out there. I check my hand again and see the jack of hearts, making it so that I went rudder for the flush and the win. Whew! Hey, let that be a lesson to y'all. Double and triple check your hand before mucking. And when in doubt, just table it. I almost let it go, and I would have lost the pot had I not rechecked my cards. Did I get lucky? Hell yeah. But that's poker, folks. A little later, I get into 2 more hands with my friend on the right. He's been jawing a bit about the hand he got stacked, and it's obvious to me that he's trying to goad me a little bit. The first hand to note is pocket 6s from the cutoff. It folds to the hijack, who limps of course, and I raise it to 5x. I get 2 callers, plus my friend in the hijack, and we go 4 to the flop. The flop is jack, 8, 5. When the 2 early positions check, the hijack bets about 75% of the pot. I really want to call here. He's gotten a bit looser and a bit more splashy since the ace-5 hand, and I would love to float one to see if he checks on the turn. But with two players left to act, it's just not an ideal situation. So I fold. Several hands later, I pick up 8-7 on the button. It folds around to my friend in the cutoff, and, you guessed it, he limps. I bump it up to 3x, and the big blind and the cutoff call. With three of us to the flop brings 10-7-3 with two hearts. It checks around, and I bet a little more than half the pot, and I wouldn't be mad if I took it down right now. The big blind isn't too much of a worry from what I've seen so far, so it's really up to my friend in the cutoff to make a stand. Well, I guess the big blind got tired of folding to everyone's c-bets because he calls, as does the cutoff. The turn isn't the best card with the deuce of hearts, bringing in the flush. Three ways, I don't like this card. If this wasn't a heart, I would make a decent-sized bet if it checked around to me. But chasing the flush, then checking the made flush is in the wheelhouse of both of these players. I put their ranges on various 10x combos and suited connectors or gappers with two hearts. If someone has the flush and missed value here, they will come out swinging on the river. The river presents the four spades. I highly doubt that hit anybody. The big blind checks, and my friend in the cutoff goes for a 60% pot size bet. There's our flush, ladies and gentlemen. I legitimately consider looking him up here, but luckily I remember that I didn't give him credit for being able to bluff. And if that read stays true, a fold is the only option. And that's what I do. A lesson for all you grinders out there. Don't let emotion dictate your play. It never ends up well. All right, enough horsing around with emotional investments. I look down at King 5 of diamonds in the hijack position. It folds around to me, and I throw in a couple of gator teeth, and just the big blind wants to dance. The flop is Anna Kendrick, giving me the second nut flush draw and a gutter ball. This is a new player, and he has c-bet the majority of the hands that he has played. So I was disappointed when he just checked here, and I was really hoping to check raise. I check as well, and the turn hits my hand with the king of hearts. When my opponent checks again, I'm putting him on a weak diamond draw or an underpair. Though unlikely to have a king, if he does, I bet and he calls, I still have the diamond draw in my favor. With this logic, I make it $30 to go, about 70% of the pot. He makes a quick fold and add a few more chips to my stack. In the small blind, I pick up ace-queen. Three limpers are in the pot by the time it's my turn to act, and I raise the price of admission to 5x. I get three callers to the flop, and I am less than excited to see it when it comes out a two-tone Jack 10-5. In early position, I like to check the majority of the time. If I'm heads up or have the stone-cold read on my opponent, I may open bet, but since it's multi-way here, I check, and that's the ideal choice, I think. The good news is that no one else likes the flop either, and it checks around. It's possible my opponents have some weak or medium aces. The turn pairs the board with the 5 of spades. Now, it's possible that someone could have bottom pair and just hit trips. If that's the case, they would most likely bet here to deter anyone who might be chasing the club draw. I've ruled out any Jack X and 10X combos at this point. I decide to donk here for about a third pot, targeting middle pairs like 6s and 7s and maybe some overcard combos to call, setting up an overbet bluff on the river. I think I would get raised by hands that wouldn't fold to a bluff on the river, so it would be an easy laydown. Luckily, I don't need to sweat the river play as everyone folds and I take down another pot. I started this session with cowboys that didn't get paid off, so it's only fitting that the last hand of the day is cowboys again. Hopefully, I make a little bit more than just $30 this time. The low jack opens for two gator teeth, and when it gets to me, I opt for a 3-bet of 3x. If the button or the blinds wake up with a hand, they could come along or even repop for more. The low jack thinks about it as he takes a second look, but chicken's out, and folds. Oh well, I'll take it anyway. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope this vlog helps you be okay with ABC Poker from time to time. You'll get lucky, you'll get sucked out on, you'll catch a lot of hands, you'll go card dead. Just remember, at the end of the day, poker is a game that you are blessed to be able to play at your leisure. Don't forget to stick around for the stats and the folds, and remember, whole hog if you got it.